And then, Jim Carrey's like, it needs more juice, baby. And he turns it all the way up. And Jim Carrey they let him do anything. Just like, humana. And just all that. And the actor who plays Fred, God bless him, Chad, he tries to match Jim Carrey. And he's going, whoa, he can't do it. Hello, and thank you for checking out the video. I just want to let you know that I not only create content on my YouTube channel, Class in the Glass, but I'm also on Twitch, where I review movies, cartoons, and TV shows live, while also playing single-player games and multiplayer games. I also have a Patreon where subscribers have access to hundreds of video and audio commentaries for films and cartoons, as well as podcasts and videocasts. In the meantime, thank you again for watching. Enjoy the video.
Courage now. Truth always. Batman forever.
Woo! All right, my friends. But now, guys, we have to get to tonight's review. I am doing a scene-by-scene breakdown, Chad, to the 1995 superhero film directed by one Joel Schumacher, Chad, Batman Forever, the third chapter, the third entry in the Burton-Schumacher Batman series, since all these films do have continuity with each other, Chad. But before I go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty details of this movie, I have a very important question to ask you, chat. That question being, how many of you have seen Batman Forever? I'm very curious about this. Very curious to hear your opinions on this film, chat. Darcy says, saw this many times, had the VHS tape, and played a lot on TV. Chris Harris, yep, just rewatches that. And Mr. Lowry, resubscribing. Thank you so much, 29 months. Just restarting your streak. Thank you, good sir. Lisa says, yes. Our Fox says, I seen it. Ryan, thank you for this. That was everything I want. I have elsewhere to be at the moment. But see you later, and you're welcome once again. Oh, thank you so much, Ryan. Thank you so much. All things Batman, yay, more love nerd, indeed. Wicked says, I did. Sork says, me. Brando Carrison, yes, many times. Esmeralda, yes. Ellenberger, oh, yes, I still have my VHS. Ooh, got that VHS. Very good. I've actually never seen it since Quake. Good. I can lie. You won't even know it. Excellent. Yeah, he says, I don't think so. I think I remember cringe face. Oh, that's a good way to say it, yeah. The thing is, Tommy Lee Jones, he's pretty bad in the film. I mean, he's trying to be Jim Carrey. It's just like, it's not working. Hey, Jim Carrey's trying to be Jim Carrey. It's not working, chap. Chriselle, the only pizza I don't like is Papa Murphy's. It's not because you got to bake it at home. It's just not quality pizza. Yeah. No, there's a lot of bad pizza joints up there. Cedar Spock says, me. So the ones in the theater, once on TV. You saw this in the theater. Wow, Soldier Blue. Wow, Mr. Lowry says, yay. Marvel Nerd says, yes, just watch again last week. Okay, you can help keep me on tats then. You can make sure I get all my facts straight. Very nice, very nice. I see it. And for some reason, I've seen it. For some reason, I don't remember much. Oh, no, there's a reason why. There's a reason why. Don't worry. You're totally fine. There's a reason why you don't remember it. Matter of fact, I'm happy for you. Wicked Wink and Chris breakdown, greater than movie. Thank you, Wicked Weekend. It's very kind of you to say. You too good for Little Caesars. I am too good for Little Caesars. Indeed. So maybe I have a long time ago, because I saw it in the theater. I love this. I remember that lately. I had my my Batman mug. That's the best thing I'll tell you this. So we got a good group of folks here, Chad. A lot of you have seen this movie. Some of you have not, or you don't remember seeing it, which is, I'm happy for you. Good. This is my favorite Batman movie, although I remember Jim Carrey in the movie. Fair enough. I mean, he definitely stands out. He's just a green question mark going, whoa, 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 the whole time like Daffy Duck. He's more Daffy Duck than Riddler in this film, chap. Mr. Rockers, I understand because it's his name, but I remember my handle. I'm Flair. I was, of course, man, of course. Yeah, we'll talk about Batman. Robin, don't kill Two-Face. I want to kill Two-Face. Oh man, this was one of my favorite Batman movies growing up, but I was 10 when it came out, and this animated series was my jam. No, I understand. I definitely get that. Listen, I love the Riddler Toshiba. I mean, there's a couple of things about this film. So let's turn the clocks back, chat, to, nearly 25 years ago, more than 25 years ago, chat, 30 years, about 27 years ago when this movie came out. There's a reason why we got this film, chat, because of Batman Returns. In case you don't know, Batman 1981 is directed by Tim Burton. Chad had Michael Keaton, had Jack Nicholson. It was huge. It's one of the most commercially successful films of all time at that point in history. And, Warner Brothers said, we got to do it again. Let's get Tim Burton back. And Tim Burton said, the only way I would come back to do a sequel to a Batman movie is if I get to do anything I want. And Warner Brothers said, okay. They gave him all this fucking money, and he had carte blanche, chat. And we got a really rapey, murderous penguin played by Danny DeVito. We had Michelle Pfeiffer making a shit ton of cat puns and running around in skin-tight, latex with a whip. And we got Christopher Walken doing what the fuck he was doing. And Michael Keaton was also there as Batman, I think, for like a couple of scenes. But it was weird, chat, where we literally had Penguin talking about filling women's voids, talking about blowing children's erogenous zones sky high. The sexes are equal. All that shit. It was weird and it was gross shit. And they had a McDonald's toy for Penguin, and everyone said, "What the fuck is going on?" People were disturbed by it. Parents didn't want to take their kids to see this movie, and most importantly, chat, it did not make as much money as the originals, or, as 89 Batman. So, okay, we need a change. And even though they had prepped, they were planning to do a third Tim Burton Batman movie. You can look it up, chat. Everything, like Robin Williams was allegedly going to come in as the Riddler. Billy D. Williams was allegedly going to come back and reprise the role as Harvey Dent and to have play Two-Face. It's like, woo, that sounds really cool. And it's going to be dark and gritty, but a little less rapey, thank God. But Warner Brothers said, listen, we gotta make this. It's a fucking superhero film. We gotta make this for kids, okay? Fill with colors, have fun, all right? Let's bring a little bit of that Adam West wholesomeness, which I think is fine. I like Adam West as Batman. It's some good times. It knows what it is and embraces it, and it works for it. And Adam West was a pretty goddamn a great Bruce Wayne, and he was a fun Batman, chat. But like, hey, let's put some money behind it, and let's do the Adam West Batman movie we never had the opportunity to do. But we don't want you to come back to direct it, Tim. No, we need someone who can be fun. And Joel Schumacher was the person that they picked, and he said, yes, I can take what Burton did, and I can carry some of that over, but for the most part, we're going to do a fresh take on Batman. Obviously, Michael Keaton didn't come back. He didn't want to do it again. And so they recast the role. They got Val Kilmer, who was a huge box office draw back in the day. He was an actor in hot demand, coming off of things like Tombstone, coming off of things like Heat, several other movies, obviously, chat. So the guy was like, yeah, let's put him in there. And he's a good actor. He's a good actor, so it makes sense. And they're like, well, if we're gonna do the whole kind of Batman 66 thing, let's also get a Robin in there. They think, okay, cool. I mean, originally they were looking at Marlon Wayans to be. They were adamant about casting a young black man as Robin, which of course there's nothing wrong with that, Jay. You can make Dick Grayson black. I think that's fine. But they were looking at people who were, again, older. They were looking at Marlon Wayans and also Chris Rock at the time as well. They never didn't go with that. They went with a 35-year-old Chris O'Donnell to play the character, which was weird casting. But, he also was recently coming off of some success, chat. A Scent of a Woman, which he was fantastic in with Al Pacino, chat. An excellent movie. And then they looked at the villains. And, of course, obviously, Jim Carrey was the biggest star at the time, chat. He ruled 90s comedies. He was huge. Ace Ventura, The Mask, I think had come out before this movie did. Obviously, he was known for In Living Color. He was being paid $20 million per picture. I mean, he was the guy you get. And he was cast as Riddler. That whole dark, take that Tim Burton wanted to do with Robin Williams didn't happen. Didn't coalesce. So he was cast. And then, of course, famously, you also have, Harvey Dent Two-Face. They wanted to bring that character in. You think, oh, they're going to bring back Billy D. Williams. No. And the reason why, and it's just bluntly, the reason why they didn't want to bring back Billy D. Williams as Two-Face or as Harvey Dent is because he's black. That's why. I mean, and that's very disappointing, and that's racist, and that's extremely sad, because I would have loved to have seen Billy D. Williams take on that character. But yeah, it was racism, really. That's what they just like, nope. But part of Billy D. Williams' contract was he was supposed to play Two-Face. That was part of his original initial contract with Warner Brothers on the 89 Batman. So eventually, we're going to keep you around, and if we do a movie which features Harvey Dent / Two-Face, we're going to have you come back, and you're going to be paid this much. So what they had to do is they basically said, all right, well, because we want to recast a different actor, they had to pay him what they were obligated to pay him as if he had played Two-Face, Harvey Dent. So Billy D did get his money, so that's nice. You know, it's a nice compensation. It sucks that we didn't get to see him play that role because I thought that would have been really interesting. There was a Batman 89 sequel comic that came out, I think, recently this summer, that takes place after Returns, where they use Billy Williams' likeness, his Harvey Dent, and he is Two-Face in that book. I have not read it. I've heard kind of mixed things about it, chat. But hey, it was cool that they had that. We can at least see a version of what that would have been, you know, in comic book form, in graphic novel form. And he did reprise the character of Two-Face in the Lego Batman movie, where we get to see what his design would have been, which is that's pretty fun. Where he also voiced it. He voiced the little Lego version of himself. It's like, I thought that was cute. It was average Harbaugh one. Yeah, I've been hearing that from a lot of people. They're saying like, it wasn't that great. So, oh well. And then of course they were looking at several actors, and they landed on Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. Now the thing is, like, I will say, looking at it from, you know, like from a distance, to give, you know, at the time, to give Warner Brothers the benefit of the doubt, give Joel Schumacher the benefit of the doubt before the movie even came out. It's like what they were presenting, what they were doing. It's like, you know what? This isn't a bad change. A lot of people, even though I think in retrospect, a lot of people have a renewed appreciation for Batman Returns. I certainly like, I think the movie has a lot of fucking problems, and it's weird, and it's gross. There's no doubt about that. But there's a lot I respect about that film. And I totally get Warner Brothers' reaction where it's like, yeah, that last one was alienating people. Let's kind of bring in some of the camp that kind of defined Batman for a generation of people. And so recast the main character. We'll bring in Robin. Chris O'Donnell was a rising star. Tommy Lee Jones is coming off of an Oscar win for The Fugitive. He was already in a lot of big movies at the time. He was a respected actor. And again, Jim Carrey was the biggest star ever in the 90s. And so it's like, wow, and Joel Schumacher was a comics director too. And it's like, okay, all these things separately are good, but it's when you combine them, Chad, you know, with that script and with that direction and with the zany performances that it just all falls apart. But if you just take it, if you just look at it before they started filming, it's like, this looks pretty good. This looks pretty good. And then it eventually went off the rails when we got to Batman and Robin. I mean, it got off the rails in this movie, but it was a commercial success. I think even though it did not do as well critically, I think Batman Returns did better with critics at the time. This did make a lot more money than Returns did. And I get it because it's, you know, it's definitely a campier, more fun film, whereas Batman Returns is darker and gothic and rapey. Well, they're like, let's take the rape out of Batman. And I'm like, all right, that's fair. There's some notable infamous behind-the-scenes stories that Tommy Lee Jones fucking despised Jim Carrey. I think Jim Carrey had told this story on the Howard Stern show and has told it years since that when he was cast and when he knew Tommy Jones was cast, I think it was like right before they were about to start filming, and Jim Carrey had walked into a restaurant and he saw Tommy Lee Jones there, and he's like, oh, he went up to him, he said hi and everything. And apparently when Tommy Lee Jones saw Jim Carrey, he like all the blood from his face just drained and became like white. And he walked up to Jim Carrey and he was shaking, and he embraced Jim Carrey in a hug, and he said, I don't like you. Matter of fact, I hate you, and I cannot sanction your buffoonery, and walked away. And I'm like, oh, that's really mean. Is that what he says? I cannot abide your tomfoolery. I thought it was like, I cannot sanction, I cannot abide your buffoonery. And I thought and it's cruel. And the thing is, like, I've heard a lot about, Corey knows a guy who had a really bad experience of Tommy Lee Jones as well. Apparently he's just an asshole. And it's like, it's too bad because the guy's, he's talented. He's talented. And even watching this movie, I'm like, there's a moment where I'm like, ooh, this is going to be really good. And after that moment, he says a single word. A single word, and then his performance is out the goddamn window. He's all, the Batman. That's all he does. Like, both Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones in this movie are just trying to be Jack Nicholson's Joker. That's what they're all trying to do. And it just doesn't work. You know, Riddler is not supposed to be this kind of like just giggling prankster, and neither is Two-Face. They're very different characters, and it's cool the idea of them teaming up with each other to take down the Bat. But they're just laughing and screaming at each other throughout this entire movie, and it's kind of rough. It gets a little grating, but it has its fans, Shed. This movie has its fans. And, you know, all the respect to him, I can't say I'm a big fan of this movie. Although I do have a few positive things to say. There is some like, ooh, that's interesting right there. Some things I like and other stuff that I find very unintentionally funny that makes this movie. I will say, this movie is watchable. You can watch this. You can have a fun time. You can laugh with it and laugh at it. Whereas, you know, I mean, I think you could do that with any of the 4 Batman films that came out in the 80s and 90s. Even Batman and Robin, which, again, horrible movie. I've also reviewed that film too, chat. But there's stuff that you can either laugh with or laugh at. But now, my friends, we're going to go ahead and get into my scene by scene breakdown for Batman Forever, brought to you by Little Caesars Bat Calzone, chat. It tastes like shit. We start, chat, with a bunch of credits flying at the screen. We have Val Kilmer. Oh! We have Chris O'Donnell. Jesus! Jim Carrey. Whoa! And Tommy Lee Jones, get away from me. They're just flying at the screen, chat. It's a very aggressive opening credit sequence, chat. Hi, Nia Brownie. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing very well. Please don't bully me. After the opening credits, chat, we then cut to Val Kilmer, no longer Michael Keaton in his pursed lips. Now we have Val Kilmer, who there's something I noticed with this Batman movie. I was like looking at him. He constantly has his mouth open while in the bat suit, like, maybe it's because he can't, most likely he can't breathe or sweat, and so he has to pant like a goddamn dog. But there are so many scenes in this movie where he's just like, because he's so fucking exhausted, chat. Very weird. But he doesn't have, again, Val Kilmer, I don't think he's not a bad Batman. He's just kind of a boring one. But he's not really bad in the role. But he doesn't match the kind of the mystery or even the weirdness or the kookiness of Michael Keaton's character. But it very much is that same version of that character. Like, he's always wearing the wire-rimmed glasses and things, chat. We also see him more of his day-to-day stuff in Wayne Enterprises. And he still maintains that relationship, that rapport with Michael Gould's Alfred, who has returned from the Burton Batman films. He's the actor that has stayed with all these movies, him and Pat Hingle, chat. Although Michael Gould gets more to do than Pat Hingle. But we see Val Kilmer putting on the bat suit, chat, and we see copious amounts of bat butts and bat groins, chat. Joe Schumacher, he loves his men, and he loves to film them, chat, especially from the rear. And everything's a Dutch angle. Every other shot in this movie is a Dutch angle, chat, where you just kind of turn the camera like this, and that's all this is. Also, the camera's on the ground a lot. Like, there's a lot of just like, let's just get this at knee level, so we're just looking right at Val Kilmer and Chris O'Donnell and Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones. Hell, even Michael Gould's penis. Let's get some peen shots, baby. And so we see all the bat butts and all the bat groins. And then fucking Val Kilmer reveals himself in a non-sexual way standing there. It's like, okay, he's got little bat nips, Chad. He's got little bat nips, but they're smaller than the more pronounced ones with George Clooney's bat suit. But he's standing out there, and he presses a fucking button. And what gives rise, Chad, out of this dais is the most phallic-looking Batmobile I've ever seen. Maybe until Batman and Robin, where it rises. It looks like, what if you took the Batmobile from the previous Burton movie and just took a glow-in-the-dark dildo, chat, to just put it like this, like, okay, take out the innards of the Batmobile, put that dildo right inside, and boom, because this thing is just constantly like, well, it's doing its thing, chat. Let me just say it's doing what it's supposed to do, I think. But it's very phallic looking. Even H.R. Geiger design is like, it has nothing on this. Very impressive. And then Alfred's like, will you be needing a sandwich, sir? And Val Kilmer's Batman's like, no, I'll just get drive-through. And that's his first line, chat, referencing that he's going to get some fast food. Did you know that Batman Forever had a deal with McDonald's? Well, you know now. And so then he gets in the Batmobile. Dun, 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 dun. They don't have the Elfman score anymore. I don't like this score, chat. It's like, it's supposed to be really triumphant and a little, like, ooh, whimsical. But no, I want that dark, moody Batman score. But that's a different Batman, chat. This guy has a fucking dildo for a Batmobile. And he shoots out He shoots out, chat, in a non-sexual way out of the Batcave, just right outside, chat. Penetration. And eventually, chat, we then go to Chinatown in Gotham City, where, as we all know, the Chinese, they love neon. They fucking love it, chat. It's everywhere. It's in their buildings. It's in the infrastructure. It's in their food. They consume neon. All the Asian people in this movie are glow in the dark. I'm not joking. Literally, Chris O'Donnell goes back to Chinatown, and for some reason, all the Asian people are glow in the dark. I'm like, that's kind of weird and racist. You know, didn't even think that would happen. But we go to Chinatown, and the Second National Bank of Gotham is being robbed by Harvey Dent, who has become the villainous Two-Face, chat. Ooh, speaking of Two-Face, did you know this was not actually the original intro to the movie? You can look online. Hardball 1. Think of the Twin Peaks. Robert Pattinson will get Little Caesars in the Batman. Hell, my fucking God, if he does. I'm like, of course, hey, keeping up the tradition. Keeping up the tradition of many past Batmans, if you will. But this movie didn't initially start this way with the Dutch angles and the bat groins and the bat butts and the phallic Batmobiles and all the Chinese people glow in the dark. No, it actually started much darker, chat, but they cut it out, where we see the character of Dr. Jonathan Crane, Scarecrow, in Arkham Asylum, and he's going to go talk to Harvey Dent, who is currently interned at the asylum, chat, and he approaches his cell. And he's like, Harvey, I'm here for your session. I'm here to talk to you. But he goes inside, and the guard's been fucking murdered, chat. And we see that there's this big hole in his cell, and he's escaped. That's how the movie was originally supposed to start. But, you know, Warner Bros. Said, what the fuck did we tell you, Joel? We don't want any dark stuff, okay? We want you to sell McDonald's. We need glow-in-the-dark Chinese people. And we need Play-Doh all over Tommy Lee Jones's face. And he's like, okay, I'm sorry, Jesus. And so then, chat, we cut back to the Second National Bank of Gotham City. It is currently being robbed by Harvey Dent, who has now become Two-Face, chat. Don't worry, we will figure it out as origin story in a bit. And I will say, chat, the first 30 seconds of Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face is actually pretty good. Because all we see is the coin. That's like, ooh, good transition. That's nice. Establishing what kind of villain is in town now in Gotham City. Where we cut and we see this guy flip this coin, and it goes, spins, and he catches it. He catches the coin. He catches the coin, and we see just the regular side of Two-Face's face. It's Harvey Dent, if you will. Tommy Lee Jones's regular face. And he's like, I've been asked this question, my friend. That question being, what's the difference between a poor man and a rich man? What's the difference between a good man and a bad man? What's the difference between a hero and a villain? And I'm like, you know what? I'm liking this. And then we see this guard that's all been tied up and he's laying on the floor. And then he just crawls on top of him. He says, oh, it's easy. It's easy, my friend. And the answer is luck. And as soon as he says luck, the movie is fucking fucked. When he says luck, exactly. Because you're 100% Darkslayer, 100%. Because when he says luck, we see the reveal, and he looks like Ivan Ooze if you left him in the microwave for a little too long, chat. And then the rest of his dialogue is, kill the man. That's all he's fucking doing in this movie, chat. It's ridiculous. But at first I was like, this is actually kind of cool. I'm kind of digging this, chat. And the guard's like, what are you going to do with me? I'm going to let the coin decide. He's laughing. He's like, you're not Joker, you're Two-Face. And he's like, oh, here we go. And he fucking flips it in the air, and it lands in his palm. And he goes, oh. And the guy's like, whoa, no peeking, no peeking, no peeking. Ooh. Oh, look at you. The sun shines on you. Wine and roses for you, my friend. Or in your case, pizza and beer. He's like, so I'm free to go? He goes, no, I'm going to put you inside this giant fucking vault. But you said you let me live if the coin flipped on the good side. He's like, I'd let you live for a few more minutes. Live bait is better to catch a bat. It's like, oh boy, here we go. Here we go. And so then we cut outside of the bank, chat, where we see Chase Meridian, Nicole Kidman's character. She is a psychiatrist. apparently doing a story on Batman chat. She wants to interview. And Pat Hingle, Commissioner Gordon, doesn't give a shit. And he's really bad at his job. Says, sure, you can follow me around. Okay. And she's there. And she's like, so when's Batman going to arrive on the scene? And then fucking Val Kilmer's Batman shows up. He's like, Commissioner, I'm here. He's like, Batman, this is Dr. Chase Meridian. She's very pretty. She's like, hot entrance. And he's like, what do you want, doctor? You seem too pretty to be a doctor. And she goes, so that's kind of vaguely sexist and stuff. He's like, well, I'm Batman. I'm sexist all the time, 24/7. And she's like, listen, what will it take to get you out of that outfit, okay, and have sex with me? I mean, have an interview with me. He's like, well, I gotta go stop the bad guy first. He's like, a flying rodent like yourself sure is crazy. He goes, first of all, bats aren't rodents. Second of all, fuck you. And he fucking leaves. He leaves because he's got to fucking stop. He's got to stop Two-Face chat. And then eventually he gets to the elevator. He's like, he really waddles in the elevator and goes boop, and he just waits in it. Two-Face is loading up the security guard in the vault, and he sees the elevator going up, and he's like, boys, looks like we have a bat in our belfry. Let's give him a welcome. And so oh, by the way, Two-Face's thugs all look really weird. They have these, like, goofy luchador masks on, and some of them have, like, these obnoxious piercings, like, in their face. And I'm like, I don't understand why they have, like, this industrial metal, and all their lips are hanging down like, brrr, like this the whole time. I would have not. They look like gimps. They look like a bunch of fucking gimps. And he's like, kill the bat, which he will say throughout this entire fucking movie. But so all the Two-Face thugs line up in the elevator when it finally hits their floor, the 20th fucking floor or whatever. And they all start, before the doors open, they go, yeah! They all start just laying into a hot molten lead shed, like all these weird assault rifles that they got. And then eventually the door opens, but Batman's not there. Two-Face is like, and then fucking Batman jumps down. He was hiding on top of the elevator chat. And then we get a really poorly choreographed Dutch angle-filled fight scene chat where you don't really know what's going on. The camera's super up close. Batman has all sorts of gadgets that literally make people sound like Looney Tunes characters when he has like the shock batarang, which, you know, we do see in like the Arkham games and the comics, but he uses it. He throws it at one guy and he goes, and then he like pushes guys into that guy and they all start going. And so it's just a whole bunch of, you know, banana peel, slip sound effects. And it's like, I don't like any of this. Don't like it. Don't like it at all. But then Batman, he waddles off to Two-Face shed. He waddles off to Two-Face, but Two-Face looks like he's already gone. But he sees the guard inside the vault. He's like, I'll help you. And he goes inside the vault, and the guard's like, And he's like, what is it? And he rips off the duct tape on his face. He says, it's a trap. It's a trap. And the vault door shuts, Chad. And Two-Face is like, ha! I trapped the bat. Now let's kill the bat, boys. And so then he gets into this helicopter, Chad, that's connected to the vault. And they pull the vault out of the bank, chat, and it's like swinging overhead. Meanwhile, inside the vault, all of a sudden, I don't know how they fucking did this, but like all of the compartments inside of like the safe deposit boxes are apparently filled with acid, and we know it's acid because the security guard says, oh no, boiling acid, which is a really bad line read. And he has glasses on, and his glasses fall out, and they melt in the acid. Batman's like, don't worry, I'll save us. He crawls outside of where he'll save himself. He crawls outside of the vault, chat, and he opens it through some bat bullshit. He then takes his grappling hook, which apparently can penetrate concrete like it's nothing, shoots it, goes through the concrete wall of the bank, and he then severs he also tells you, hang on. He severs the cable connecting the vault to the Two-Face helicopter, and it then swings perfectly back into where it was before, chat. He then frees the security guard. He's like, are you okay? Yeah, Batman, thanks. He's like, okay, I gotta go punch Two-Face in both his faces. And so eventually, Chad, he then gets his grapple hook and he attaches the helicopter as Two-Face flies throughout the city. And he's got his boys in there. And he's like, head to Gotham Harbor, to the Statue of Liberty, which I'm like, why is the Statue of Liberty in Gotham? It's like, I guess It's the statue of Gotham. I don't know, but it's like the Statue of Liberty, chap, except it just has Gotham written on the ground. It's weird. And he's heading right towards it. It's all part of his evil plot. And he starts shooting at Batman, trying to hit him and things. Batman's like, yeah, fuck that. He grapples up the helicopter and, you know, hits Two-Face. Two-Face, he falls back, and his gun kills all of his guards that are controlling the helicopter. And then after the event, it's like, it's going down. Oh, the helicopter's gonna crash. And Two-Face is like, sorry, Bats, gotta fly. Kill you next time. And then he jumps out of the helicopter, Chad, in a Two-Face parachute, which apparently he prepared for it because it's like it has his face on it. It's like, God damn it, you're just trying to be Joker. I get it. But it has his face on it. He jumps out. Batman's like, oh shit, fuck this. And he jumps out of the helicopter too into the water. We get like a slow-mo Batman shot, which actually looks kind of cool as he rises up. And the helicopter slams into the face, or at least half of the face, of the Statue of Liberty Gotham. And oh no, the statue has been disfigured, chat, and now the statue looks like Two-Face. It was all part of the plan, and Two-Face is in the parachute going, woo! It's like, can someone just send out the fucking Coast Guard to pick him up? Because he literally has nowhere to go. They're like 2 miles outside the city. Just, you can literally, it doesn't matter. Because you know why it doesn't matter, chat? Because Commissioner Gordon is really bad at his fucking job. Eventually, we cut from that, oh boy, and we get one of the worst CGI city shots I've ever seen. It's like, I think even Batman, I will say, in Batman Robin, they improved the city shots because this is not Tim Burton's Batman. Because one of the things I will say that I will always speak highly of is the production and the sets in Tim Burton's Batman. I love just the gothic look of it. It's kind of timeless. Feels like it's set in the 40s, but the architecture is just so weird and kind of gross, and it sticks out in your mind. Here, it's like, okay, well, we're in the 90s now, and CGI is a big thing we want to put in all of our movies, so let's just make this CGI city where for every skyscraper, we have 2 giant fucking statues of naked men holding something up, because that's what we see, all these bronze statues of just penis everywhere. Joel Schumacher directed this, in case you didn't know, and it looks awful. And then eventually we go into Wayne Enterprises, chat, which has 2 bronze guys with giant peens on either side of it. Very phallic, very phallic. And we are introduced to the character of Edward Nygma. And if you thought Two-Face, if you thought Tommy Lee Jones was over the top as Jim Carrey, oh boy, you're wrong. Let me tell you, I don't know if I could even do like a sanitized version of his performance. He's fucking weird. This version of Riddler, his motivation, he wants to fuck Batman. He wants to fuck Batman more, obviously, than Two-Face, and much more than Chase Meridian's character, chat. And she was literally saying, what can I do to get you out of that bat suit so I can get an interview with you? He's obsessed with Batman, chat. And, you know, he's the typical, prototypical nerd. This is what everyone says, like, so-and-so was based his performance off of Jim Carrey and Batman Forever. Like, Guy Pearce in Iron Man 3, or Kristen Wiig in Wonder Woman 1984. This is what people are talking about, is this specific role. Now, there are people that do love this performance. I mean, it's Jim Carrey doing Jim Carrey. They hired him to do this. He's just not the Riddler. He's being the Joker, if you will. He's a much more exaggerated version of Jack Nicholson's Joker, Jack Napier. And he is excited because his his employer, Bruce Wayne, is coming to inspect research and development at Wayne Enterprises. They fucking hired this guy. Why are you hiring clear, obvious psychopaths, Bruce? Man, bad. I guess it's his manager, Fred. I don't know what Fred's last name is, chat. Don't worry, he doesn't have that much screen time. He's not going to be here very long. But Fred, he runs the R&D department. He just is sick of Edward Nygma, and he's trying to keep Edward Nygma away from Bruce Wayne, Val Kilmer. And at one point, as Val Kilmer's inspecting all the various projects and knickknacks and doodads, which he will eventually then steal and then use for his own bat gadgetry and vigilantism, chat, Edward Nygma spots him, and Fred's like, Ed, don't do it. He's like, I need to talk to him. He's like, Bruce Wayne, it's so good to meet you. And he starts shaking his hand. Bruce Wayne, wow. He goes, yes, I know my name is Bruce. What's your name? Oh, my name is Edward Nygma. Nygma. You hired me yourself. I mean, we haven't actually met in person, but I saw your name on top of the application. And he's like, okay. And Val Kilmer, God bless Val Kilmer, chat, because Jim Carrey is just chewing scenery. He's literally chewing on Val Kilmer, chat, as we speak. And Val Kilmer is straight-faced the entire time with Jim. He's like, well, this guy clearly, he's a little off or whatever, but and he's indulging him, chat. Khaleesi, good to see you, Chris. I had no idea. I have my own channel, Khaleesi, currently reviewing Batman Forever. We're at the part where Jim Carrey wants to fuck Val Kilmer. But again, who wouldn't want that? Chris, here's the thing with trying to be, and throughout this scene, Jon Favreau's in the background taking notes. This is not how to make a comic book movie, yes. 100%. And Edward Nygma's really excited. He's like, Bruce, can I call you Bruce, baby? He goes, no, but you're not going to stop. We're joking. We're best friends. We're best friends, BFFs. I want to show you my invention. And he shows him, it looks like if you put a blender on top of a colander, chat, and stuck a whole bunch of licorice in it. A whole bunch of black and red licorice, chat. And apparently, this thing stimulates and manipulates brain waves when you're watching TV. It makes you think you're actually in the TV show itself. And Bruce is hearing this, and like Fred in the background's going like, oh my God. And he's like, Bruce, I mean, it's an amazing invention. I just need some human trials, okay? I haven't been able to get the human trials. They haven't let me access the forms. But with your permission, I can start the human trials tomorrow. And he's like, you know what, Edward? If we can talk about this tomorrow in my office, it would be a pleasure to get into more details. And for whatever reason, Edward Nygma's like, that's just, listen, Mr. Wayne, even though I'm your employee, I need a yes or no answer right now. Yes, no, yes, no. And he's like, well, in that case, Edward, then no, this is my fucking company and we do things on my terms. Also, manipulating people's brainwaves, that's just kind of unsavory. That seems very unsafe. And Jim Carrey makes this sound. It's like you can just tell, like when his heart was broken, when his boyfriend just betrayed him, chat, or his quote-unquote boyfriend. The Elite, thank you for resubscribing. 17 months on a 17-month streak. Thank you, Lee, for being here. You're just in time. Because Jim Carrey, he's like, am I joking? As Val Kilmer is delivering his dialogue, Jim Carrey's just cooing at him. And it's like, well, I'll see you around, Edward. Edward Nygma's like, you embarrassed me. I'll make you pay, boyfriend. It's like, okay, I'm sure nothing bad will come of that. Eventually, Chad, after seeing a very crushed Edward Nygma, a very sad Jim Carrey, Fred walks up to him. He says, listen, you and I are talking about this after work. You're staying here. And he's very upset at the way he conducted himself in Bruce Wayne, as you would be, Chad. But then Bruce, he gets a little ring-a-ding-ding, Chad. He gets a little ring-a-ding-ding. And apparently the bat signal gets shoot, even though it's the middle of the fucking day. I don't know how that's the thing. Like, if crime is happening in the middle of the day, I don't know how you're going to use the bat signal. But even though it's about 2 p.m., let's say in the afternoon, the bat signal is in full display up in the sky. And Batman's like, I gotta go to my office. And he gets to his office, just sits at his desk. And what happens is he activates some buttons, and suddenly his chair leans back, and a hole opens up in the floor, and he shoots down into a chair. It's like a giant slide. And apparently, this slide from Wayne Enterprises takes him all the way back to Wayne Manor, to the Batcave, chat. And he shoots out of it. It's like, well, I don't know who made this? How was that made? What was the contractor? It doesn't matter. We're never going to find out. I mean, cool idea. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool that from Enterprise you instantly get back to the Batcave. But again, who built that? Lucius Fox is not established in these movies, chat. It's crazy. There's no black people in Batman and Robin, sadly. But he's there, and Alfred's like, I saw the signal, sir. He's like, suit me up, Uncle Alfred. And so butt shots, groin shots, bat nips, you got it. And then eventually it's nighttime. It's then nighttime, chat. And he goes to the bat signal. It's on the top of the GCP building. He's like, Commissioner, I'm here. But then you know who it is? It's Dr. Chase Meridian. She's there. She's like, Batman, I knew this would get you to come here. He's like, the bat signal is not a toy. It's used for crime. He says, well, it's a crime that we haven't started talking yet. And all this scene is puns. It's just bat puns, chat. And he's like, I don't have time for your woman questions. He's like, what's a girl gotta do? Wear hot latex and use a whip? And it's like referencing Catwoman, chat. We're referencing Selena Kyle, which I thought that's kind of cool. So there are connections. There are connections to the Burton films, not just actors, but like, okay, they acknowledge Catwoman existed. That's neat. And he's like, yeah, I got no time for this. I gotta get going, okay? Okay, and she's like, well, you know what? I want to know what's behind the bat, behind all of this rubber. I love that she calls it rubber. And he's like, why are you so obsessed with me, okay? You want to get my costume off? You know what? Try firemen. It's easy to take all their clothes off. And she's like, no, it's not that. How did you get your car? He's like, why? Do chicks love the car? That's what we then later referenced by Chris O'Donnell's Robin and Batman Robin. And he's like, you're a fucking floozy. Get away from me. I don't want you touching me or lusting after me. She's like, but Batman, I must talk to you. It's very important. It's for journalism. Fuck journalism. It's dead. And then he leaves. And then he leaves, chat. Eventually, we then cut back. Also, Pat Hingle arrives, being completely incompetent. He's like, I saw the signal. It was in the sky. What's happened? He's like, nothing, just woman problems. Take your woman problems somewhere else, Dr. Chase Meridian, if you are a doctor. And then he leaves. Then, chat, we eventually cut back to Jim Carrey, who's having another nervous breakdown while working on his head blender. And then Fred comes over. He's like, Nygma, I'm very upset with you. Based on everything you've done, I am going to make sure that you're fired by tomorrow morning. And then Edward takes a fucking, like a coffee thermos and just bludgeons Fred over the head. He's like, careful of caffeine, Fred. It'll kill ya! And then he is now tied up Fred to an office chair. He wakes him up, and he's like, Nygma, I'll make sure to contact the FBI and the FCC and all these other organizations. And Jim Carrey's just going, I'm quaking in my boots, Fred. But first, I need a human subject for my brain wave. And he puts the brain thermos blender on top of Fred's head, and then Jim Carrey puts on another apparatus on his head, and he turns it on, and suddenly the TV is 3D, chat. It's like, shit, it says 3D televisions. The Riddler was just James Cameron of 1995, chat, forcing all of our movies into 3D. But Fred loves it. He's like, whoa. He's like a 3D fish. And then it starts powering down, and then, Jim Carrey's like, it needs more juice, baby, and he turns it all the way up, and Jim Carrey they let him do anything, just like, hamana, and just all that, and the actor who plays Fred, God bless him, Chad, he tries to match Jim Carrey, and he's going, whoa, he can't do it, and eventually Jim Carrey turns it down, he turns off the machine, goes, whoa, what a rush! And Fred's like, what have you done? What have you done? He's like, what I have done as a genius, the greatest mind Gotham has ever seen, I've absorbed some of your brain waves, Fred. And now I, Edward Nygma, is even smarter. And he's like, this is highly illegal. Once Bruce Wayne and the police know about what you've done, you'll be sent to prison. And Edward Nygma's like, you know what, Fred? I just wish you'd fuck off. Why don't you go ahead and take a vacation? Take a stroll. Here, let me roll you down. He, like, for whatever reason, this is research and development, chat, where everyone's dealing with electronics and weapons and whatever you can imagine. And they have these giant fucking windows, which you can if you trip and fall, you're fucked. You're gonna go right through that window, Chad. It's like, this is not a safe work environment. And he pushes good old Fred, which apparently pushes him really hard, on this office chair. He goes, oh, and he rolls all the way down. He goes to the window, chat, but He's still plugged into the apparatus. And Jim Carrey's like, Fred, don't worry. I'm coming, baby. The feet don't fail me now. And he gets up to Fred. He's like, oh, I almost lost you there, Fred. I almost lost you there. And Fred's like, oh, thank you. Thank you for saving me. He's like, yeah, the last thing I want is to lose my head. And he rips off the apparatus, and CGI Fred then falls into CGI Gotham Harbor into CGI water, chat. And he's like, Jim Carrey's like, woo, somebody stop me. And then he goes back inside of his office. Eventually, chat, we cut to Two-Face origin story. Bruce Wayne is watching 60 Minutes, chat, and they having a special on Two-Face, chat, where apparently Harvey Dent was a normal guy. He was the district attorney, and he was interrogating. He was questioning mob boss Sal Maroni. He was from the comics, chat. Sal Maroni, who is usually either the guy that takes over for Carmine Falcone in the comics or is his, his kind of rival, if you will. But while Sal Maroni was on the stand, he obtained some acid because he was not patted down, and he threw this acid into the face of Two-Face, but Batman tried to stop him. Very weird scene, because was Batman, in the courtroom? Because they literally show, Batman jumping over the railing and over the desk to get to Harvey to stop the acid from burning him. So he was just sitting there in the courtroom, in the audience, like this. It's very weird. But that is Ed Begley Jr., you're right. I forgot about that. Is him. Wow, I didn't recognize him at first. But he all that Ivan Ooze juice gets on Two-Face, gets on Harvey Dent. And apparently the horrific scarring and the pain and the ingestion of fluids caused him to go insane, Chad. Oh, no, one of Gotham's finest, its White Knight, was corrupted, and it makes Batman, super, super sad. But then, Chad, Alfred, he comes over to Bruce. He's like, hey, sorry to interrupt your brooding, but there's been an accident at Wayne Enterprises. And Bruce goes there, and fucking Commissioner Gordon's there. And it's like, Bruce, one of your fucking employees is dead. He's like, oh, no, which one is that? Fred. Oh, yeah, I love that guy. And so then we have a videotape, apparently, and they're watching the videotape, chat. And it's Fred, going, oh, he's just laughing. And he just yeets himself out the window. But we know that's not how it played out, chat. It's very fucking weird. It's very weird. And then Edward Nygma, who was doing an interview with another employee, is like, oh, Fred was like a father to me. It was horrible. It was horrible. Just breaks my heart. Just breaks my heart. Everyone's like, Jesus, Ed, get a hold of yourself. He's like, I'm trying. Oh, I'm trying. Listen. I have this note addressed to me by Fred. I think, I was like a son to him. And if you check it, it'll have his exact handwriting and penmanship, everything right here. I'm sure everything is here because he wrote it. And they give, this is funny, they give the note to Bruce Wayne, who then reads it. And it's all it says is, Dear Wayne Enterprises employees, goodbye, cruel world, signed Fred. And then Bruce is like, this is weird. And he hands it to Commissioner Gordon and goes, yep, suicide. All right, boys, that's a closed case. Another case closed by Gotham's greatest police commissioner. He's really bad at his job. But Bruce is like, nah, there's something more to this here. I don't think it's definitely suicide. He's such a dumbass. After that, we then cut to Edward Nygma's home, chat, where he enters and he lives in this really shitty apartment. And on every single wall is a picture of Val Kilmer's Bruce Wayne, chat. It's like, this is like some serial, it's interesting if they made the Riddler, he's just obsessed with Bruce Wayne because he's in love with him. That's actually not bad, but the way Jim Carrey's playing it, it's just weird. It's over the top and unintentionally funny. But it's like wallpaper. He has a wallpaper of Val Kilmer, chat, which is I imagine any teenage girls from 1995, they probably had the same thing. And he also has all the Riddler stuff already there. He has this kind of Zoltan, kind of from Big, that thing where it's you put a quarter in, it'll tell your fortune or something, and it'll get, or it'll turn you into a 35-year-old man. I guess fucking Chris O'Donnell got a hold of that thing. And it's it's going, and it's all right, so just establishing that he was always kind of crazy, always had this kind of Riddler persona, if you will. And then he starts doing something actually kind of cool that I want the Riddler to do, where he starts clipping out like magazines and like words and titles from magazines, and he's pasting them on this paper chat so it can't, even though he apparently can copy anyone's handwriting since he did that to Fred. He's like, well, this time I don't want to have to do that all the time. And so he starts taking all of these letters from magazines, and he makes his first riddle chat, and he drives all the way to Wayne Manor, and he affixes the envelope with a big green question mark on the front to the gate. And he's like, Wayne Manor. Ha! See you soon, Brucey. And then he drives off in his moped. Eventually, Chad, Alfred finds the envelope and he brings it to Bruce, and he's like, Bruce, this is fucking weird. And Bruce like opens it up and he's like, this is weird. I'm gonna go talk to a psychiatrist, even though I myself have also dabbled in, detailing and examining, the psychological profiles of criminals. I'm gonna go talk to Nicole Kidman's Chase Meridian because he wants to fuck her, chat. That's why. He's like, why don't you do it yourself, Bruce? Why you gotta go see Chase Meridian? There's no reason he should go see Chase, but he just does so. And so he gets into his fucking really cool fancy car and he drives over, and we get to like a really funny scene where it's like, I don't know why. I guess it's like various offices, but it's in this giant ornate building. And he goes up to the security guard in the middle. Because, you would go up and like, oh, excuse me, do you know where so-and-so's office is? And they go, yes. Usually they would say, yes, Dr. Chase Meridian is in like room 327 on the 3rd floor. And you go, thank you. And this case, Bruce walks up to the security guard and goes, excuse me, do you know where Dr. Chase Meridian is? He goes, he just points in like I don't know, a general direction. She's to the right side of the building. What are you pointing at? He's like, oh, thank you. Like he knows. It's like, all right. And so he walks up, he finds it, chat, miraculously after several hours of searching, I believe. And all he hears in the room is, and he's like, oh my God, someone's hurting her. It's like, It's alone time. It's lunch break, Bruce. Maybe she's just trying to get a quickie in before she has got to talk to a few more people. But he bursts in, he breaks down the door. I'm here to save you, Chase Meridian. And she's just in the middle chat of, pleasing her. No, she's not. She's kickboxing. I don't know. I mean, listen, that makes sense. You have your activities, but why do you have like a kickboxing setup and like, a kickboxing bag, chat, like a punching bag in your office? Weird. And she's just fighting it. And she goes, do you always enter a woman's room that way? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were being attacked. Not every woman's being attacked, Bruce. He's like, I'm sorry. Can you look at this note I got? And she's like, sure. And because she's like, oh, Bruce Wayne. And he's, well, that's the thing, because she's like, this is actually the first time they've actually met as not in a Batman suit, but as Bruce Wayne. And she's like, what is Bruce Wayne doing here? He's like, oh, I've heard about you're good at psychology and stuff, for a woman. And she's like, I will take that as a compliment. And he's like, I have a question mark. And he's like, give me. And so they open up the envelope, chat. And we have, I believe, a riddle. I think we have a riddle. Here it is. Here's a riddle. Tear one off and scratch my head. What once is black is red. And they're like, that's a match. And it's like, it makes fun of like Val Kilmer's stupid pretty face. And so basically saying that you lit this match and now a fire is going to spread. I'm going to burn and tear down your entire world. At least that's what they read into. And she's like, this guy sounds like a wacko. And he's like, is that your, is that the medical term he would use to describe this individual? He goes, well, yes, this man is clearly infatuated with you, possibly even loves you, but for some reason he feels rejected. And now he wants to destroy you and your entire world. I wonder who that sounds. The greatest detective who is in the world, the greatest detective in the world, has solved some of the most complicated mysteries of all time. He can't think of anyone like that. Really? Okay. And he starts looking around the room. He's like, well, thanks for the answer. And he sees this picture on the wall. He's like, why do you like bats so much? And she's like, that's not a bat. That's a Rorschach ink blot. But it looks like a fucking bat. And she says, Rorschach ink blocks, they can be interpreted in different ways by different people. You see what you want to see. Why do you see a Bat Bruce Wayne. And he's like, why do you have a bat fetish? She's like, don't kink shame me. And then he goes over to this other thing she has on her desk, which is this Two-Face doll. It's a Two-Face doll where it's like it's black on one side and white on the other side. And he's like, what is this? And she says, that is the Malaysian Dream Warden doll. And it prevents you from getting bad dreams. And he's like, does it work? And she's like, sometimes. He's like, I'm going to take this now. Would you like to go to the circus? And she's like, yeah, I love circus. And so now, chap, weird. I mean, if you're going to go on a first date, I like to like, hey, let's go get some food. Let's go get some drinks. Let's talk to each other. Bruce, not great when it comes to first dates, I'll say. Because he's like, hey, you want to go to the charity circus of Gotham City? Which is weird. And she's like, yeah. And so then we cut. And this is where we see all the money on full display, chat. Again, I don't like the aesthetic of this film. But, you know, taking out my own personal taste, it's impressive. A lot of color, a lot of big sets, a lot of big, naked, bronze, phallic men. A lot of penises here, chat. But they're in the circus, yay, and they're so excited and everything. And Riddler's also watching, because everyone, for whatever reason, chat, Gotham City apparently is super into circuses, and the news is covering the Gotham Charity Circus. Everyone's about this. Even fucking Edward Nygma has to be watching the circus, chat. It's like, oh, great. And then we have the ringmaster there. And he's like, ladies and gentlemen, it's so great to be here. I want to thank Gotham's finest. There's Mayor Borg or whatever the hell his name is. Like, hi, I'm Mayor Borg. Hi, Mayor Borg. I want to thank Police Commissioner Gordon, the greatest police commissioner in Gotham City's history. He's like, yes. The fact that this Commissioner Gordon is the greatest police commissioner in Gotham City history is very, very sad. And he's like, oh, and Gotham's finest playboy billionaire philanthropist, Bruce Wayne. He's like, yeah, yes. And then all the reporters are like, Mr. Wayne, who is this lovely creature around your arm? He's like, well, it's not a bat. I don't fuck bats. Thank you, more at 11. And then, Chad, eventually we cut back to the ringmaster. He's like, well, that was fun. But now comes the piece de la resistance, everybody. The biggest performers in the entire Gotham Charity Circus, the Flying Graysons, and they're totally teenage, very young and supple looking children. And we see these two old people with their sons who each, I will say, the brother of Chris O'Donnell, the other Grayson brother, looks like he's 42 years old. Chris O'Donnell does look, I mean, I will say, his family makes him look younger, but he looks like an old man here, chat. And they're in the leotards, and he's like, watch him do flippy jumps and stuff. And we watch him do all sorts of flippy jumps. And everyone is fucking blown away by this. Everyone's amazed, especially Commissioner Gordon. Like, if you want to look at just blissful, perfect happiness on the face of an individual, look at the way Pat Hingle watches those acrobats, chat, as the way he watches the Flying Grayson. He's just like, oh, he's never seen anything like it, chat. And, you know, Flying Grayson was like, yeah, it's very impressive. And now, everyone, we shall remove the safety net, and they shall perform their most daring stunt. And Pat Hingle's like, oh, hold me, Bruce. And he's like holding everyone's hands. And then the entire family does like all the acrobat. Oh, it's great. And they do it. Everyone's fine. Everyone's like, oh. But then the ringmaster, he goes behind like the circus tent because he needs a fucking swig because his wife left him and this is the only thing he has and he needs a drink to get through the day. So he chugs, but then, oh, Two-Face, you know it's Two-Face, chat, because he's always burping and belching and farting his lines out, and he hits the ringmaster. And then for whatever reason, he then gets his own, he prepared for this, he has his own ringmaster disguise, even though it's not a disguise, it's literally a suit with two different halves. One's kind of, you know, pinstripe. The other one looks like garbage. If you just threw garbage on someone and then, like, there you go, it's fine. And then he wanders out in the middle of the rain. He's like, ladies and gentlemen, oh, it's so good to be here with you tonight. But we have a change of plans in tonight's programming. I'm going to blow you all up. Everyone's like, is this a part of the show? No, it's not, Pat Hingle. Oh, Commissioner Gordon, you're the worst. And he's like, in this, and he presents like this giant fucking bomb. Inside this bomb are 200 sticks of TNT explosive. And I will blow it up in 5 minutes unless Batman reveals himself in a non-sexual way. And he just assumes, because this is hilarious. He just assumes that, well, since everyone loves the Gotham charity circus, everyone's watching it, Batman must be here watching it too. And he's like, one of you lucky people must be the Batman. Tell me and I won't allow all these lovely, innocent people to die. Put the bomb up, boys. And it just ascends. Everyone's like, oh, everyone starts fucking panicking. And then I will say, this is kind of cool. I do like this scene, chat, where Val Kilmer's, he's like, I don't have a plan here. I don't have the suit on. I got nothing. And I was like, this is the bravery. This is probably Val Kilmer's like kind of defining Batman moment. And I think it's kind of underrated, where he literally stands up and he just starts shouting, Harvey, I'm Batman. I'm Batman. Bruce Wayne is Batman. But he's drowned out by the crowd. And I'm like, seriously, I'm not being facetious. I think this part is kind of cool. I do like this. But no one is listening. No one can hear him. Two-Face can't hear him. He's just like, blah! He's farting and burping and yelling at everybody. And Bruce Wayne says, fuck it, I'm just gonna punch crime in the face. And he just runs up and starts fighting all the Two-Face thugs. But, chat, the Flying Graysons are like, hey, guys, we can stop the bomb. Come on, family. Graysons, put a hand in there. Graysons, go. And so what they do is they unhook the bomb and they entrust their youngest, chat, their youngest and most supple, soft sons, Dick Grayson, also known as Richard Dick Grayson, chat, to throw the bomb over the big top so it can fall into Gotham Bay. Don't worry, Dick. We'll be okay down here. We're going to protect the people. Okay, Mom and Dad. And so he goes up there, chat. He takes, again, this bomb is supposed to be filled with 200 sticks of TNT. How much? I'm going to look this up. How much does 200 sticks of TNT weigh? 200? I'm just curious. I'm just doing this on the fly. 200 sticks of TNT weigh. Let's see, chat. I am very, very curious at this. Let's see here. Let's see here, chat. Happens to weigh 227 fucking pounds. So this kid, this guy managed to lift one-armed 227 pounds of TNT explosive, chat. Sure. And so he goes up there and he manages to throw the giant ball of TNT, rolls off the big top, chat, and boom, now it goes into the Gotham River and it explodes. Meanwhile, the Flying Graysons are spotted by Two-Face, and he's like, blah, 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 and he takes this assault rifle and just shoots all of them up there, and doesn't actually hit them. Funny enough, he just hits the trapeze apparatus, and it just comes down with the rest of the family, chat. So Mrs. Grayson, Mr. Grayson, Dick Grayson's, 42-year-old brother, and then everyone's like, oh, everyone's panicking. Two-Face just runs away, and then boom, they hit that ground like a fucking hot water balloon in summer, chat. They explode. It's like, Jesus, it looks pretty bad. And then Bruce Wayne, he sees this, and Pat Hingley's like, where's my cotton candy? He gets up, and he walks over there, chat, and the mayor's there too. And then, but then they look up, chat, and all they see is the sad 35-year-old face of Chris O'Donnell. Oh, he's a 35-year-old orphan, chat. Horrible. It's so horrible. He's like, nah, man, you're just going to pocket the money. Even if your parents have life insurance, they're trapeze artists. They most definitely do. Also, Riddler was watching the entire display and laughing his fucking ass off. There's a couple of scenes in this movie that disturb me. There's been some stuff like already that's disturbed me, but there's like two scenes in particular. One we have not got to yet, but it's coming up very soon. But there is a scene where we watch Jim Carrey eat popcorn, and it is just terrifying to watch, chat. Where he's just throwing his thing, going, like he's all teeth and all gums, like his lips don't close when he chews. We see like the back of his mouth, all the chewed up, liquefied popcorn. I'm like, I don't like this. It disturbs me greatly, chat. By far the scariest thing he's done in this movie so far, which again includes trying to fuck Val Kilmer and also murder his boss, Fred. Anyway, we then cut, chat. We then cut from that weird fucking scene. And, oh God. Oh yeah, that's it. After that, chat, we then pull up to Wayne Manor where Pat Hingle is driving with Dick Grayson and Toad, chat. Dick Grayson's riding a motorcycle. And I guess Bruce Wayne apparently talked to Commissioner Gordon and said, hey, I want to adopt that 35-year-old man and have him live with me. And since Commissioner Gordon is really bad at his job, he says, well, there's nothing wrong with that. That seems fine. And he's like, but be sure, Bruce, to take good care of him. He's been signing papers all day. I don't think he's even eaten a hot meal yet. Just be sure to take care of him, please. And then he leaves. I was like, no, this is not okay. And then Bruce walks up to, Dick Grayson. Is like, how you doing, son? I'm your dad. He's like, are you? And then they go inside the house, and eventually they watch Commissioner Gordon leave. Alfred introduces himself. He's like, hello, Master Dick. My name is Alfred. He's like, how you doing, Al? Calls him Al all the time. But then they watch Commissioner Gordon leave, and it's like, all right, guys, listen, thanks for all this, but I'm getting out of here. I'm literally in my 30s. I shouldn't be raised by whatever the fuck this whole thing is. And he's about to leave. Chad Bruce is like, are you sure you want to get going? The circus must be halfway to Metropolis right now. Boom, name drop, chat. Superman exists in this world. And he's like, I can get to Metropolis, no problem. I'm like a speeding bullet, baby. I'm faster than a speeding bullet, just like Soups. He's like, okay. And then Dick Grayson tries to, turn on his fucking motorcycle, but he ran out of gasoline. He's like, listen, if you want to get some gasoline from the garage, I can spare you some. I don't need none of your rich man gasoline, Bruce, but I think I do need it for my motorcycle. That's fine. And so they go into the garage chat where Dick Grayson sees all these like antique cars and bikes. And he's like, oh, a smorgasbord, a smorgasbord. He's like Templeton the Rat of vehicles. And he's like, well, and Bruce is like, well, listen, you can stay here for now if you really like the cars and stuff. I could use a mechanic. And he's like, well, you know what? It'll help me. At least it'll help me avoid social services. Why? Do you have a 15-year-old son to take care of, Chris O'Donnell? Why are social services checking on Dick Grayson in this movie, chat? It doesn't make any sense. But Bruce is like, excuse me, I'm having a flashback coming on. He's like, okay, cool. And so then Bruce goes inside the house and he looks upon the portrait of his family, Chad, good old Thomas and Martha Wayne. And he's like, whoa, Joker. And then we get a flashback, Chad, to the original 89 Batman. They redid it. But because, I knew this is the Joker because all we hear is, you ever dance in the, it's like, you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? And then boom, boom, and he shoots poor Thomas and poor Martha Wayne. And then young Jack Nicholson disappears into the mist, and we see sad Bruce Wayne. And Alfred's like, excuse me, Bruce, am I interrupting a traumatic childhood flashback? He's like, you were, Alfred. It's my fault. I killed his parents. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, the Two-Face, he killed Dick Grayson's parents. He's like, that's not what you said, sir. You said you killed them. Because Bruce feels guilt because Two-Face wants to kill Batman really bad. And, he was there for that. And people got caught in the fucking crossfire, chat. That's what you get what you fucking deserve. After that fun little traumatic flashback, chat. That's right. Because also Dick Grayson, he's like really adamant about like, I want to kill Two-Face. I must have Revenga. But we then go to Bruce going to Dick Grayson saying like, hey, I got important Bruce Wayne Enterprises meetings. Alfred would take care of you. And so then Alfred shows Dick Grayson to his room, and Alfred's like looking at his helmet, and he's like, is this a robin? And he goes, yes, it is. My dad loved birds. And he said, if I'm a bird, then he's a bird. And we bonded over robins and stuff. He's like, fantastic. That's great. And he's like, here, Alfred, take my onesie. I won't need this anymore. And he's like, you never know. There might be a situation where you got to wear a onesie, I mean, Bruce, he gets kinky here. I'm going to put this in the drawer in case you need it for later. It might be your payment. And he puts it in there, chap. And eventually, he leaves. But then after this, We then cut to Two-Face doing rampant destruction in the streets of Gotham City because he's still trying to get the bat. Honestly, you could have cut out this entire action sequence and it would have been fine. It was not necessary. But, like, Two-Face's thugs are just shooting places up in the city, and Batman, he goes out to try to find them. And then we see this old bag woman going across the street with, like, in a cart. And Batman's like, I'm going to run over this old lady. But it's not an old lady, it's Two-Face. He goes, bah! You should have known because he was farting and burping and belching his lines. And he starts shooting at Batman, and Batman has to, like, swerve around him. And then he keeps going. And the rest of Two-Face's thugs chase after Batman. And they do fuck up the Batmobile quite a bit, chat. But then we get, like, a really goofy scene where Batman gets stuck in an alleyway and he has nowhere to go. But, chat, Batman has solved his verticality problem because much like how he has a grappling hook, the Batmobile has one too. And it could defy the laws of gravity. And he shoots out a grappling hook that attaches to the upper part of the building. And it just pulls up the Batmobile and he drives up the fucking wall with Two-Face going, what the fuck? And then we cut because it was like, that was a really weird scene. And then we get Edward Nygma, Chad. He's trying to figure out what his alter ego will be. What will be my villainous character? And he's like, shall I be the questioner? Shall I be the clue master? Shall I be Captain Kill? But then he realizes, like, oh, I have all this question mark stuff. I'm just going to be the Riddler. Cool. And then we then cut from his, him trying to come up with an identity for himself, and we are now with Two-Face, chat, who, and we know it's like, again, why don't, in order to find Two-Face, just go to all the buildings in Gotham City that have, like, a really weird kind of, like, color palette where, like, one half of the outside of a building is, like, covered in black paint and the other half is covered in white paint. Maybe you should just check those places out because he's probably there, and that's where he fucking happens to be. And his entire room, again, I don't like the aesthetic of this movie, but they did put money into this. On one side, chat, it's like it's white and ornate, and Drew Barrymore's there. And the other side is like if Ivan Ooze took a nasty shit and just lathered all the furniture in there. It's all purple and stuff. And he has a dominatrix. And it's these two women who are basically like, listen, honey, we want to fuck you, but come over to my side, okay? I made you your favorite meal. It's like some fish with quail eggs. The other one's like, I made you roasted boar heart with raw deer liver, which that sounds like it'll give you bubbly guts. And Two-Face is besides himself. He's like, oh, so much honey for us. Woo, and he's like smoking 2 cigarettes out of each side of his mouth, chat, because he's crazy. He's loony. But then all of a sudden, chat, right before he's about to start lusting on his 2 honeys, he hears, woo, somebody stop me. And Edward Nygma no more, chat. He is now the Riddler, complete in full Riddler regalia, chat. Suit filled with question marks, covered in question marks, and bowler hat. And Two-Face, who's like, who the fuck are you? Get out of here. And he fucking runs up on him, and he's about to blow his goddamn head off. And he's like, and fucking Riddler, he does the only thing that he knows how to do, chat, which is, basically ingratiate himself to people by flattery. And he's like, Harvey, baby, please, boobala, I'm here for you. I love what you've done with the place. It's amazing. And I love watching you trying to kill the bat. You're so smart. You're so brutal. I mean, you kind of got like a Hitler, a Mao Zedong, a Stalin vibe going. And I dig it, baby. I dig it. But, I figure you might need a little help, might need a little planning. And I got a thing that you might want. He's like, what the fuck could you offer me? I can give you the answer to the greatest question there is. And he's like, what's the question? He's like, riddle me this, Two-Face. Who is the Batman? Two-Face is like, we don't know. And he's like, exactly. And I have a plan. I have a plan to find out who the Batman is. And he's like, how? And he's like, let me show you. And he gets his 2 weird head apparatus things, the blenders with the licorice and the colander on there. And he puts it on Drew Barrymore's head. And then he puts it on the dominatrix's head. And then he takes a plunger. It's a fucking plunger. And he then attaches it to Two-Face's fucking head. And then he turns the machine on, and Two-Face starts absorbing the brain waves of Drew Barrymore and the dominatrix, and then he rips off the thing off of Two-Face. He's like, that's how. Two-Face is like, oh my God, I know everything about them now. He's like, exactly. And so my plan is I'm going to sell all of these inventions across the city, right? And Batman will, he assumes Batman will definitely buy one, and once we're absorbing all the brain waves, we'll find out who Batman is. And Two-Face is like, that's brilliant, that's amazing, blah! And all they do for the next 2 minutes is just laugh and hem and haw and just kind of burp into each other's mouths. And then Two-Face is like, but before we decide that, and he's like, okay, before what? He's like, well, we have to let the coin decide. And he's like, heads, we'll go with your plan. Tails, we'll blow your damn head off, which I actually like that line. It's like, we'll go with your plan, or tails, we'll blow your goddamn head off. And he fucking flips the coin, and we're like, oh, tails, please. It doesn't land on tails. It lands on heads, chat. And then we just get a montage of the Riddler and Two-Face robbing jewelry because they need money. Riddler's like, I don't have any funding for my invention. And so apparently, Chad, it's very easy to, again, this just shows how people don't understand like how money would work in the real world. It's like, okay, even if you steal all this money, you're going to have to launder it. Like, how did you launder any of this goddamn money? Because then Edward Nygma, he sets up this huge, massive fucking business. It doesn't matter. We're not even there yet. But they rob all these jewelry stores. They rob all these banks, and they're bonding. They're like two brothers, if you will, chat. There's actually some cute stuff where at one point they're robbing this bank, and Riddler's going like, I really like how you punch a guy. Like, show me how to do it. What do you do? He's like, oh, it's real easy, kid. You just take your fist, ball it up like this, reel back, and and he fucking Tommy Jones punches this guy in the face, and he just knocks him out. And then Miller's like, oh, I can do that. He's like, okay, so you just ball your fist, you just reel back, and boom, and he hits the guy. He's like, oh! He like breaks his goddamn hand. Oh, it's great. The Chat Attack, Nick Diaz, thank you so much for the very kind raid. Witness me doing my review for Batman Forever, good sir. An absolute pleasure to have you here. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to take this opportunity, Chad, to get a little water. I'm a thirsty boy. All this talking, Chad, all this hemming, hawing, and burping, and screaming, and laughing, like Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey will work up a thirst in you. Believe me, I got to quench that thirst right now. And then, after all that fun stuff, chat, what are we doing? Oh, yes, that's right. Now we got to cut back. To Gotham Manor. Bruce has received another riddle, and this is the riddle, chat. The 8 of us go forth, but not back, to protect the king from a foe's attack. And Alfred and Bruce are like, what the fuck does that mean? They have no idea what that riddle means, but they don't have time for that now because Alfred says, Bruce, I don't have time to track down this new supervillain called the Riddler, okay? I need to do laundry. And so Alfred goes to the laundry room, chat, and we see one of the other disturbing scenes in this movie. The first of which was watching Jim Carrey eat popcorn very violently. And now, chat, we're going to watch Chris O'Donnell do the most violent laundry washing of clothes I've ever seen in my life. Because Alfred says, like, hey, I can wash your clothes, Master Grayson, Master Dick. And he's like, don't worry, Al, I got it. I'm used to doing things by myself. And so we watch this whole thing where he hand washes all of his clothes, and then he jury rigs like a line, like a clothesline in the laundry room to hang up the clothes. But before he does that, he does this little fucking dance number, and where he literally like wraps his wet clothes like around his leg, and he squeezes all the water out and violently throws them over the clothesline. And I'm like, there is literally a fucking washing machine there and a dryer. Why aren't you using that? And you're getting your dirty, gray, BO-filled water all over the laundry room of Wayne Manor. And I realized, like, oh, that's why. He doesn't know he's an idiot. he might be a 35-year-old man, Chad, but he has the mind of a child because he literally doesn't know how to do his own laundry. And Alfred, Michael Gould's acting in this, superb, because he just looks aghast. He looks disgusted at the way Chris O'Donnell does his laundry. Am I joking, chat? Is that not the most violent scene of laundry making you've ever seen in a film? I rest my case. After that, chat, after that horrific scene, because Chris O'Donnell, he's been like, I'm gonna fucking walk around the house, and he gets to a particular door that he can't open. That's because it's the Batcave door. And he's like, hey, Al, what's behind this door? And Alfred says something that's pretty, again, Michael Gould is probably the best actor in these last two Batman films of the Burton Schumacher era. And he's like, Master Wayne's dead wives. And then like Chris O'Donnell, it's like, there's a pregnant pause, and he's like, really? Goes, no, it's the silverware. Be gone, youth. And he's like, okay. And Alfred goes behind that door, but ooh, Chris O'Donnell, good old Dick Grayson, he knows something else behind that door, chap. Eventually, we cut to Edward Nygma, who has styled himself the new billionaire playboy of Gotham City. His blender, licorice, colander contraptions are very popular now. They're selling like fucking hotcakes, chat. Everyone loves them. People, there's been rioting at stores because they just love putting these fucking things on and watching their 3D TVs. But the news people are saying, like, you know, there's been some complaints that it's turning the citizens of Gotham into zombies. What do you have to say about this, Mr. Nygma? And he says basically, it's like, well, that's what they use. He scoffs and he goes, that's what they said about TV in the 50s. And he's like, yeah, he's kind of right in that case. It's true. That's true. Kind of like a subtle criticism of, you know, the consuming of, you know, entertainment. It's like, that's kind of, it's not bad. But chat, this is a movie that literally tries to sell you McDonald's in the first 3 minutes. So there's not that much subtlety. Also, apparently, no one knows, but Riddler and Two-Face managed to launder all their money from all their robberies across Gotham City and have built a giant lava lamp blender base right there, smack dab in the middle of Gotham Bay. And apparently no one's aware of this. And what's happening is that when the people put on their weird blender hats, it's sending their brain waves all the way to the giant lava lamp Riddler base, and it's going directly into Jim Carrey's head, who's going he just does that for like another minute and a half, and I'm like, okay, we can stop. We then come back to Wayne Manor, where Dick Grayson, he's on the third floor, and Alfred and Bruce are like, hey Dick, listen, we got to go and do some stuff. Do you need anything from the store? And Dick's like, I'm okay, I'm good. You guys are good. You can get going. It's like, okay, goodbye. And so they leave. And then Dick Grayson decides to like do skateboard stuff because it's the 90s and everyone's skateboarding. And he's like, I'm going to skateboard. And he starts skateboarding, Chad. He starts skateboarding down the goddamn, banisters. Destroys Wayne, family memorabilia, all the tapestries. But eventually, Chad, his body is like, he yeets himself so much. He then goes through the silverware door, all of the silver, that Alfred has collected over the years, goes through that, and he falls down the stairs, and he ends up inside the Batcave, Chad. Oh, boy. Oh, man, he's like, cool. He's like, ooh, what's he gonna do, Chad? Eventually, we cut back to Batman. Batman, he is left, and he's going to go see Nicole Kidman, Chad. But Nicole Kidman, she likes to sleep naked. And so she's like wearing this, like she hears someone enter her apartment / office / workout room. And she puts on this like blanket and she's like walking around like this. And Batman's like, I'm Batman. I'm here to talk. I know you want to interview with me. And she's like, yes, Batman. I've wanted to talk to you for quite some time. I want to know about your psychosis and the trauma that made you dress up as a bat. And this entire scene just has Val Kilmer literally with his mouth like out. I don't know why. I think because he's just so hot in the suit, and you can't sweat through that thing. The only way he can fucking sweat, chat, is the mouth region here and maybe the eyes, but all that black paint's there too, and that's preventing him from sweating. And so that's why he looks like a fucking dog, just breathing heavy. Also, he's probably horny too. But him and Nicole Kidman are going back and forth, and how, she's like, listen, Batman, there's something I need to tell you. He's like, what is it? He's just like, I've fallen in love with another person. He took me to the circus, and it was the greatest circus of all time. It's like, yeah, like a bunch of poor people died, but that's what happens in Gotham City. All the poors die. And so I'm in love with Bruce Wayne, and I'm not in love with Batman anymore. You're kind of kinky and cool, but I just don't love you. And he's like, no. But she doesn't know, she fucking doesn't know that Batman and Bruce Wayne are one and the same, baby. And so Val Kilmer at this point is just kind of confused. He's like, he loves Batman, but I'm also Batman. So if I reveal to her that I am Batman, does that mean she won't love Bruce anymore? I ask you. But then, right before he's about to, even though Dr. Chase Meridian literally says, I'm in love with Bruce Wayne, she's still going in for a good old bat smooch chat. And right before they're about to kiss, Alfred calls on the bat phone watch. And he's like, hold on, give me a minute. And he like, Alfred, what's going on? He's like, the 35-year-old adoptee has stolen the car. He's gone. And he's like, what, you mean the Mustang? He goes, no, sir, the other car. You mean the Ferrari? No, sir, the other car. Which car did he fucking take? How did you get here, Bruce? Is there a bat cycle? I don't know. Did he maybe took the Batwing? I don't know. They do with the Batwing in the Batboat. And he's like, oh no. And then we cut to Dick Grayson inside the Batmobile, and he goes back to Chinatown chat where all the Asian people are glow in the dark for some reason. I don't understand it. It's very bizarre. He gets out of the car, but then he sees some people harassing this woman, and he's like, stop harassing that girl over there. And I'm like, what the fuck are you gonna do about it, man? He's like, well, I'm Batman. And like, there's no way a teenager like yourself could be Batman. He's like, what? I just forgot to put my suit on, bro. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking throw down, bro. And they beat the shit out of him. And what's great is somehow, I guess Batman was able to track the Batmobile, and Val Kilmer just watches as all these other youths beat the shit out of Chris O'Donnell for like 5 minutes, and eventually he's like, all right, I'm going to go down there, I'm going to help him. And so we get like so if you watch the movie, you'll notice this, chap, where he activates, where he's supposed to like fly down. They're like, ooh, he glides down like you see in the movies and you see in the animated shows. And in the video games, you glide down using the bat thing. But it's obvious that he's on a wire. And you'll notice that when he lands, he doesn't have his footing because all of a sudden, and the wire gets caught. And so when Val Kilmer lands, he goes, whoa, because he's still attached to the wire and he almost falls backward. And for whatever reason, Joe Schumacher's like, it's perfect. Let's not reshoot the scene. Very weird. What is up with Joe and bike racing? It happens. Yeah, it does. When what's her name? Not Barbara Gordon. Alicia Silverstone's character. What the fuck was her name again? I know she's Batgirl, but she's not Barbara Gordon in that movie. Yeah, she's like in a she's doing a street race. It's very bizarre. I don't know. Thank you for the 10 minutes to look the boss. A very good point. That's it. Is it Barbara Wilson? Barbara Wilson. That's Alfred's niece or whatever. Very weird chat. Comic books. And then Batman beats up all the thugs. But then Dick Grayson gets really, really mad at him. He gets really mad. It's like, no, why you do this? I could have stopped him. He's like, you were getting your ass kicked. I saved your life. Now get in the goddamn car. I'm Batman. And then he gets in the car and they drive back to Wayne Manor. And Dick Grayson's still like really mad. But then Bruce is really mad too. He's like, why did you take the car, Dick? You shouldn't have done that. That's illegal. He's like, but I just thought it would be cool and you weren't going to help me. I mean, Jesus Christ, you want to adopt me. Why are you adopting him? You want to adopt me, but you don't want to get vengeance for me, okay? I was hoping that I could like take the car and then like stop and like meet some cool babes and stuff, you know, some cool like 18-year-old babes that are like my age. And then I would go kill like Two-Face. And Batman's like, vengeance is not the way. He's like, you should fucking talk. And he's like, listen, man. I've been there, okay? I killed my ultimate nemesis. I fucking tied a gargoyle to his thigh, and he fell to his death, all right? He killed my parents. The Joker killed my parents. I thought, well, that made me feel good, but it didn't. It was still empty, and it felt emptier as the years have gone on. Vengeance is not what you seek, Dick Grayson. And he said, but I really want to kill Two-Face. He's like, Jesus, Alfred, talk to this kid. And Alfred tries to calm him down, And eventually he's like, all right, listen, I got to go to this fucking gala. Edward Nygma, you know, hey, good for him. He started his own business. I'm going to go to this gala with Chase Meridian. Alfred, you calm him down. And so Bruce goes to this big fucking party hosted by Edward Nygma, who has now styled himself as Bruce Wayne. He has the same haircut that Val Kilmer has. He has the same glasses that Val Kilmer has. And, Edward's like, Bruce, Mr. Wayne, my man, so good to have you here. Oh, Bruce, we could have been partnered on this whole big thing right here. We could have been partnered on this. Could have made so much money together. Ooh, it's a shame. And he's like, well, Edward, I'm very happy for your success. I'm sorry I didn't see it at the time. Like, Bruce is being very humble. He's being very kind. And he's like, you know what, Bruce? Since you didn't believe in me, since you didn't believe in my wonderful invention, why don't you go ahead and try it out? And Bruce is like, you know what, Edward? As someone who did not initially believe in your idea, I wish to partake. And he's like, fantastic. Well, just go right this way, Mr. Wayne, and let me absorb those luscious brainwaves. What'd you say? Nothing. Take care of him, honey. And so Bruce goes behind this curtain, and he starts getting his brainwaves sucked off by Edward Nygma, chap. Meanwhile, as Edward is just indulging in the grandiosity of his party, he's got a woman, he's got Drew Barrymore around one arm, he's got some other broad around the other joint, doing a little squeeze, chat. All of a sudden, Two-Face comes in. You knew Two-Face was about to come in there, chat, because you just heard a lot of burping and farting. And he's like, kill the bat. And Edward Nygma's like, what are you doing? Like, I love how he's like really upset at Two-Face. And he's like, your way is taking too long, my boy. This will draw out the bat. But he's like, you're like ruining my this is my place of business. What the fuck? He's like, we'll pay it off later. And then Bruce, who is meanwhile being, brain sucked off by Jim Carrey, he comes out of the sucked off trance, chat. He runs out and he sees Two-Face doing his thing. He's like, shit, I gotta go change into my bat pants. And he changes in his bat suit, chat. And somehow he climbs up on top of the building, and he comes through the glass on top, chat, this glass roof. And it's actually pretty fucking cool when he crashes down. And we get one of my favorite extras, I think, in the history of cinema, because Chase Meridian is also there, and she's just like abandoned. She's like, where did you go? Where did you go, Bruce? And then we get this one guy next to Nicole Kidman, as they all look up and they see Batman falling through the glass roof, and the guy goes, it's Batman, yeah. And it kills me to this day. Batman, yeah. Ba dun 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 ba. And he comes down, and he starts taking out all the Two-Face thugs and stuff. And Riddler goes up to Two-Face. He's like, okay, your entrance was good, but his was better. The difference? Showmanship, honey. And he suckles on Tommy Lee Jones's nipple, and because that's what they do now at this point. Eventually, Two-Face is like, I got to get the fuck out of here. And Batman chases him outside the building. And Two-Face goes into, where he should be, in the fucking trash, in the sewer, chat. He lifts open this manhole cover, and he just jumps in. And Batman's like, well, I'm just going to go after him. And he also jumps into he jumps in the sewer. But, it's this giant plastic tube. It's a giant condom, chat. And Batman jumped into it. Did you know that Joel Schumacher directed this movie? He jumps into the giant industrial-sized condom and it then slides down, into the small room that Two-Face has filled with gas. Not like gasoline, not like kerosene, not barrels of gas. No, just he pumped it full of fart. And he's like, there's nothing worse than a case of bad gas. And then he fires his gun, which ignites all the farts. But then Batman uses the power of CGI to save himself, where he literally wraps himself up in a cape, and he looks like a baked potato. And what happens is the cape solidifies with this CGI gel, chat, and it protects him. And Two-Face is like, I love fried bat in the morning. But then, Batman runs out, and Two-Face is like, why won't you just die? And he shoots the thing, and all this stuff falls on top of Batman. He's buried in a shit ton of sand, chat. There was a lot of sandbags. And Two-Face is like, I'll kill you later, Batman. And he leaves. But fucking Dick Grayson was watching the news, and he's like, Alfred, we got to get over there now. And so he's also, bring me my suit, Alfred. And he's literally now, like we're going to get the Robin suit? No. He puts on the onesie, chat, and he puts on a domino mask, and he jumps down to the sewer, and he sifts through all the sand, chat. As we know, sand is rough, coarse, and irritating, and it gets everywhere. But he gets Batman out of there. He's like, I saved you, Bruce. And, Batman, he's like, why'd you do that? Why'd you save me? He's mad. He's still mad. And he's like, Bruce, listen, you clearly need a partner. Two-Face almost killed you. And this Riddler guy, we don't even know who he is. Two villains is too much. Batman needs someone, okay? I mean, maybe I could be like, I don't know, Batboy or Nightwing. What are some cool superhero names? It's like, all right, I see what you did there. And it's like, Batman works alone. He needs no ward. And it's like, okay, whatever. Eventually, after that wonderful argument, chat, this is what happens. We get, this is the second thing. This is when Batman goes back to see Nicole Kidman. And Nicole Kidman's like, I still stand by how I felt initially, Batman. I love Bruce Wayne. I love him so much, and I don't have my bat fetish anymore. I have a white, rich, playboy billionaire fetish. Don't we all, honey? And so he's like, okay, that's fine. And then we get one of the most un-Batman things ever, chat, where he's about to leave and walk away. And this should never happen. Where he walks away, and all of a sudden we do a close-up on his face, and he gives a fucking big, wide smile, Richter's grin smile in the cape and cowl. It's like, don't do that. Don't do that. It looks fucking goofy. You saw it in the trailers, chat, and he's like, cool. And he leaves, but he's like, ooh, she's excited about Bruce Wayne, and what I'll just do is I'll just give up being Batman for her, and I'll just let the city be taken over by Two-Face and Riddler. Sounds like a good plan. Eventually, we cut back to the secret base of Riddler and Two-Face in the middle of Gotham Harbor that looks like a giant green lava lamp. And in the paper, it says, Batman, saved and stuff. And Two-Face is like, ah! And he's crying on Jim Carrey's show. And he's like, there. All good things to those that wait. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, well, while you were fucking around with Batman, I happened to download the brainwaves of one Bruce Wayne, a man I once had affection for, but no more, no longer. Let's go ahead and see who he might be. And Two-Face is like, okay, sure, that sounds good. And I guess the Riddler has managed to completely map out a person's brain now. All right. And it's in liquid form. He puts this little liquid vial inside this machine, and it's beep, bop, beep, boop. It analyzes it, and it goes into the brain of Bruce and like 3D models, and ooh, shit, very fancy. And then, shall we cut? And we see this giant fucking vampire bat flying towards the screen. And they're like, ooh, riddle me this, Harvey. Who is the Batman? Harvey's like, Bruce Wayne, yeah. And it's like, okay, and they know Batman and Bruce Wayne are one and the same. Fantastic. After that, Bruce goes home, and he's like, I'm done being Batman. It sucks. And Alfred's like, okay. And he just starts shutting down all the shit inside of the Batcave. Chris Nolan's like, what are you talking about? Fucking Two-Face and Riddler are destroying the city. I'm really horny, Dick. You'll understand once you hit puberty. He's like, I think he hit that 15 years ago, but sure. Sure, Bruce. And he's like, but what about Two-Face? I want my revenga. If you want revenge, that's something you have to do on your own. I won't help you with that. It's a deep, dark pit that'll suck you off in a bad way. All right? I'm going to go have Nicole Kidman suck me off. So, it's Halloween night. And Bruce is like, I'm going to invite Nicole Kidman over on Halloween, and we're gonna watch scary movies, and we're gonna stuff our tummies with candies like Reese's and Kit Kat and Almond Joy. It's gonna be so much fun, and we're gonna have sex, and then I'm gonna tell her that I'm Batman. But no, I'm not gonna be Batman anymore, though, because I want to be with her. And he's like, okay. Alfred's like, cool. I'm going to go and deliver cotton candy to all the children. Alfred kind of fucks up here, I will say. Because, you know, he's giving you, like, you have these trick-or-treaters come to the door and like, trick or treat. And it's like, oh, what wonderful costumes. Ghost, Superman, I don't know what the fuck you are. And he's like, go, children, go back to your poor parents. And he closed the door. And then he hears another knock on the door. Jenny opens up the little thing. He looks through. And it's obviously fucking Two-Face and Riddler in masks. And you're going, trick or treat. Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, the youths are so adorable. It reminds me of Master Dick, how young he is. And he opens the door. And then, boom, he just gets bludgeoned. By, I don't know what it is. She gets it like a bat. He fucking keels over, Chad. And then Riddler and Two-Face just start tearing apart the mansion. Two-Face is like, I'll find the bat. You destroy his belfry. Right on it. And so we get the famous scene. Riddler is able to hack all of Batman's systems because he can. And he hacks in the bat cave. He goes down in there. He's like, oh, a little too gothic for my taste. Let's liven up in here, ladies. Let's broaden our minds. And it kind of feels like his own version of like Joker in the museum, but with no music. And he has these like little Riddler bombs, and he destroys the Bat computer. He destroys like the Batmobiles and the Bat bikes. He destroys Batman's armory and goes, he's like, and again, all he's doing, he's in that like skin tight green leotard. You can see the shape of Jim Carrey's penis, chat, as he's thrusting at the camera as he's blowing up the Batcave. Meanwhile, Two-Face is literally just sitting on his ass, flipping a coin, trying to get tails, chat. He's like, God damn, he's very frustrated. Two-Face's thugs interrupt all of the candy eating and love making of one Bruce Wayne and Dr. Chase Meridian, and you know they're fighting, but they grab Chase, and Harvey finally lands on Tails. He's like, Tails, death to the Bat. And he shoots Bruce Wayne in the shoulder, like right here, and he falls off the stairs and stuff. Ty, thank you so much. How many biddies is that? How many thank you for them biddies, for them 20 biddies? Hey, Chris, just came from the Batman. 10 out of 10 for you. Woo-wee. You must love the Bat. Nice. I'll be seeing you on Friday. I'll be sharing my own opinions on the movie soon, but I'm glad to hear you really liked it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. But, my friends, we cut back to Two-Face. He shoots fucking Bruce Wayne. He falls off the banister onto the fucking floor. And he walks over. He's like, I'm now going to shoot fucking Bruce Wayne in his wrench, pop his face. But before he does so, he's stopped by Riddler. And Riddler says, if you kill him, he won't learn nothing. And Two-Face goes, it's like, no, kill him. You can win. You guys can win right now. Just do it. I don't know why the Riddler, for whatever reason, now has Two-Face wrapped around his figure. It's like, no, fuck that. This is the end mission. We know who he is. We've taken everything he has from. We burned down his house. Let's shoot him in the face. And Riddler's like, no. He's like, okay. And they fucking leave. Sure. And they take Dr. Chase Meridian. We then get to a scene where they're on Riddler Island, and he's wearing this, it looks like he's wearing an ugly Christmas Riddler sweater. I think it's a little too gauche, a little too much, a little too ostentatious. She's like, it suits you just fine for a megalomaniac. He's like, ooh, I take that as a compliment. She's like, as soon as Batman is here, he'll stop you. Oh, your boyfriend isn't going to come here anytime soon. And even if he does, Harvey and I will kill him. And he does more Jim Carrey Riddler stuff. Eventually we cut back. Alfred has fixed up Bruce's shoulder, and he's like, Batman's like, I probably should have retired Batman so soon. I need to stop Two-Face and the Riddler. And Dick Grayson's like, that was what I was telling you, okay? He's like, well, you just want to kill Two-Face. And he's like, well, maybe I'm changing my mind. I've taken what you've said to heart. And at this point, all I want to do is to make sure that Dr. Chase Meridian, who I've had absolutely no contact with at all, is safe. She's going to be my new mom, right? And Bruce is like, well, maybe, Dick, maybe. Maybe we can finally be the family that you need as a young boy desires. He's like, woo-wee, that's exciting, Batman. And it's like, cool. Alfred, bring me my bat pants. And we see the suit up, chat. We see the bat butt. We see the bat groin, chat. We see them bat nips. And now it's all like really silvery and blue because they ought to make an action figure. And he's like, cool, I'm going. And bro, Dick Grayson's like, what about me? And Bruce is like, I don't have a spare bat suit. And Alfred's like, oh, don't worry, Bruce. I took the boy's measurements when he was sleeping. What the fuck were you doing here, Alfred, when Bruce was gone? Weird, chat. I think he gave little Dick Grayson too much Dimetap. He went out like a fucking light. And he was measuring him, chat, and he knows all the dimensions, apparently, of Robin's ass. Because now, chat, you got badass, you got bat butt cheeks. Now you got Robin butt cheeks, you got Robin groin, you got Robin nips. And then we see, like, but then fucking Batman's like, what does the R stand for? And he's like, it's Robin. I'm Robin. He's like, oh, okay. I like Nightwing better. And so then he's like, all right. Let's each take a vehicle. Do you know how to drive a speedboat, Dick? He goes, nope. Fantastic. You can take the boat. And so he gives Dick Grayson the bat boat while Batman drives the Batwing, chat. And they fly to Riddler's island. Apparently, Riddler and Two-Face, with all the excess money that they had selling the giant blenders, they managed to completely mine all of Gotham Harbor, chat. So we have all these giant water mines there, and Riddler and Two-Face apparently have gotten Battleship, and they've made like a real battleship where it's like, you know, like, oh, you suck my battleship, Two-Face, bah! And where they try to shoot or blow up the Batboat and the Batwing. Very easy to do so, by the way. Very easy to do so. But they're trying to do that. They're trying to fire them. Also, Riddler, because the Pat Hingle's like, the city's in chaos. And he has the bat signal up on there. But the Riddler's like, fuck that. And he puts a giant fucking question mark around the bat signal, like, where's Batman and stuff. And then while Batman is like fighting and things, or when Batman flies over the GCP headquarters, Pat Hingle's like, yay, Batman. And then we get the meme where we literally see poor Val Kilmer awkwardly try to turn his head and go, it does a thumbs up and continues flying away. But many a meme was born through this movie, chat. Eventually, they're going through the minefield, and the Batboat blows up, and Dick Grayson swims ashore. And then the Riddler has a giant fucking laser gun, and he shoots the Batwing out of the sky, and that fucking crashes. Meanwhile, Two-Face goes to confront Dick Grayson and just kicks his fucking ass and captures him. Batman then infiltrates the Riddler's hideout, where Jim Carrey is wearing this white sequined, just skin-tight Riddler suit, and it's like, what the fuck is this? His hair is over the... It's like, what the hell's going on? And he's like, ooh, riddle me this, Batman. Who do I have behind door number 1? And it's like Chase Meridian, and door number 2, and it's Robin. It's like the first day, Robin, and you got captured. Even Bruce is like, fuck, Jesus, some sidekick you are, some partner you are. And Two-Face is there as well. And he's like, he's burping and farting and shit. And Riddler's like, we know who you are, Brucey. Your secret will be revealed to the world. We know so much about you and your ward. And then they reference the fact that Dick Grayson is a virgin and that he's never slept with a girl. And it's just weird. And I'm like, okay. Again, they fucking Joel Schumacher brings in some of that Danny DeVito rapey penguin eroticism and puts it into Jim Carrey. And, well, I was going to say a non-sexual way, but it is kind of sexual. And he's like, what's your game, Riddler? What do you want to do? And he's like, I want power. I'll have all the knowledge of the world. It'll be at my fingertips. Bank codes, social security cards, sexual gratification. It's like, where did that come in? Why does he end with sexual gratification? It's like, again, the rapey penguins bat, chat. I'm just like, all right, whatever. He wants to fuck Batman. That's what it is, chat. He's like, well, I have a riddle for you, Riddler. And he's like, what's that? He just gets confused. He's like, what is blind but always, punches things? And he's like, Batman, I'm Batman. And he fucking takes the batarangs and he hits the contraption above Riddler, which is giving all the brain juice, chat, and it explodes. And I guess Riddler just didn't see that coming. And all of the brain waves start just going into Jim Carrey's head, and he just becomes Play-Doh. And he's like, and he's like, bummer. And then he hits the button, which then releases Dr. Chase Meridian and Robin and has them falling to their deaths. But then I can see where Sam Raimi got his ideas, chat, because he's like, "Oh, you can only go for one or the other, Batman. Do you save the woman you love, or do you suffer the children? Don't do it, Riddler. We are who we choose to be. Now choose." And he fucking bummer. And then he's like, "Well, I'll just save them both." And so he just jumps and he grabs Dr. Chase Meridian first and back grapples her. And then he continues falling and he grabs Robin and he grapples and they're swinging like, cool. And he puts him right there. Somehow, Two-Face has climbed down the pit that is literally stories. I mean, it's like 50 stories. I don't get it. He's down there, and he's like, now I get to kill the bat and his bird boy. Blah. He's about to kill him. And then Bruce Wayne is like, or Batman's like, "Wait, Harvey, wait." And he's like, "What is it, Bruce?" And he's like, "You have to let the coin decide. It's what guides you. You're a man of fate, a man of chance. You can't make a decision." He's like, "You're right." And he flips the coin. And even though, again, Bruce told Dick, "Do not seek vengeance. Do not kill Two-Face. Don't do this. It'll just make your void larger. You'll be an emptier human being. I know when I killed the Joker." And here he's like, no, really, he just like, "I want to kill him." And for whatever reason, Batman has a shit ton of Two-Face coins and throws them up into the air, and Two-Face's coin gets mixed with all the other Two-Face's coins, and he fucking freaks. He's like, "Oh!" And he can't know where it is, and he's just like, "Ah!" And he fucking trips over, and he's like, "Ah!" And he dies, and he's dead. Anyway, and I think like Dick Grayson's like, "Well, why did you do that?" And he's like, "It was the only way. Harvey died many years ago. Goodbye, Harvey." And he's just like, "I gotta go." And it doesn't matter. They grapple up. And then we see, this always freaked me out as a kid. People forget this. But because the Riddler has absorbed so many brain waves, he's become deformed and his brain's become enlarged and gross. And so now his brain is like behind his ear and shit. Check out the makeup there, chap. It's pretty grody. And then Riddler's like, "Batman, help me." And he's like, "I want to answer your riddle." "What is the riddle?" He's like, "You asked me one time, why do I want to be Batman? It's not that I want to be Batman, it's that I choose to be Batman. But I'm also Bruce Wayne. And Bruce Wayne is, what I'm saying is Bat Punch." And he punches Jim Carrey in the face. He's like, "Ooh!" And he sees the bat haunting his dreams forever. We then cut to, I don't know, weeks later. And we're at Arkham Asylum. And Dr. Chase Meridian apparently still doesn't know that Batman is Bruce Wayne. Weird. And she's talking to Dr. Jonathan Crane. Is like, "Can I go speak to Riddler?" But he's like, "Well, you can't. You can try. We haven't been able to reach him for weeks. He's lost his mind." And she's like, "I'll use my womanly appearance to ingratiate myself." And she's like, "Edward Nygma, Mr. Nygma, can I talk to you?" He goes, "Yes. What do you want?" And he's like, "Do you know who Batman is?" And he's like, "Batman. Riddle me this, honey. Who is Batman?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's what I'm asking you." And he goes, "I'm Batman." And he's just like flapping his wings. He's like, "Woo!" And he's just howling into the night, chat. But he's lost, chat. He's fucking crazy. And then Chase Meridian, she goes and talks to Bruce. He's like, "Bruce, I'm sorry. I thought I loved rich white Playboys, but I love Batman more now, and I have like a serious bat fetish, so I need to leave you. Goodbye. And he's like, fuck. And then we cut, and he's in the bat cave looking sad, and Dick Grayson's like, hey, you still got me, your 35-year-old son. And Batman's like, oh, God. No, bad punch. And then we cut to the ending scene. Ba ba da da dun 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 dun. And then we see Batman. We see Robin running towards the camera as the bat signals behind them, chat. And that, my friends, is my scene by scene by scene by scene breakdown to Batman Forever, chat. This movie sucks. This movie's not good. I would give it, Chad. I would give it a some old bullshit. I would give it a some old bullshit, Chad. Not as bad as Batman and Robin, but still bad. Still bad, Chad. Chris's Batman cracks me a bad punch. I forgot the holy rusted metal Batman. I did. At that point, I'm like, it doesn't matter. Holy rusted metal Batman. And Batman's like, what? He's like, excuse me? He's like, I mean, it's kind of like got holes in it. It's rust. Anyway, let's go. He's like, all right. Oh, my Lord. You make this Batman sound way derpy because he is fucking derpy. He is derpy. I mean, listen, I think Val Kilmer does a decent job. He's just not in a better Batman movie. I would have liked to have seen him play Batman like Batman 89 or Batman Returns. I think he would have done a really good job. Here, Joel Schumacher, much like Tim Burton before him, he's so much more interested in the villains and how outlandish they are. Like we're focusing more on the outlandishness and the scene chewery of Two-Face and Riddler, and we keep forgetting that Batman's even in the goddamn movie. And so, yeah, it's just disappointing overall. I mean, there's a lot of money behind it. I mean, it's invested. You could tell by the production value. I don't like the aesthetic of the movie, all the neon and all the giant phallic things and the male nudity statues. I mean, to each their own. I was just like, yeah, it's just weird. We went from this very gothic city and now it looks completely different. So, yeah, it's just not my cup of tea, chat. Not my cup of Batman. So I'm going to very much stick with my rating of some bullshit on the double toasted DT scale. Oh my God, this is even the bad one. I mean, it's still pretty bad, though. It's still pretty bad. Batman and Robin is worse. But this is still bad. For me. But, chat, I hope you enjoyed my review for Batman Forever. I'm going to take a quick break because I am thirsty as all hell. All that Two-Face and Riddler hemming and hawing and burping and farting has left me feeling thirsty. I'm as thirsty as Riddler is after Bruce Wayne, chat. So, please go ahead and entertain yourselves amongst yourselves.